إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد سبحان الله والحمد لله ولا إله إلا الله والله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله أشهد أن أمير المؤمنين وإمام المتقين عليا ولي الله أشهد أن أمير المؤمنين وإمام المتقين عليا حجة الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح حي على خير الأعمال حي على خير الأعمال الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم اجعل قلبي وارحم لسان وعشقي ورزقي دار ونادي ورارا وجل عند قبر نبيك صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم مستقرا وقرارا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين اللهم صل على محمد.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الحمد لله الذي كان موجودا قبل حدوث الأشياء ويبقى بعد فناء الأشياء تفرد بالأولية والقدم ووسم كل شيء ما عداه بالفناء والعدم كما قال زشان كل شيء هالك إلا وجهه وكل نفس ذائقة الموت وقال كل من عليها فاني ويبقى وجه ربك ذو الجلال والإكرام سبحان من لا يخفى عليه اختلاف النيات ولا يعزب عنه معاصي العباد في الخلوات سبحان الله الذي منه خلقة العباد وإليه المعاد فمن يعمل مثقال ذرة خيرا يراه ومن يعمل مثقال ذرة شرا يراه نشهد أن لا إله إلا هو الملك الذي لا ينازع في ملكه ولا يضاد في حكمه يعذب من يشاء بما يشاء كيف يشاء ويرحم من يشاء بما يشاء كيف يشاء تعذيبه المسيئين عدل وعفوه تفضل ونشهد أن محمدا سيد المرسلين وخير المبشرين والمنذرين صلى الله عليه وآله الهداة المهديين من ركب سفينتهم نجا واهتدى ومن تخلف عنها ضل فغرق وهوى أوصيكم عباد الله بالاعتصام بالتقوى فإنه حبل متين وعروة وثقى قد قال الله تبارك وتعالى وقوله الحق وهو أصدق القائلين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الذين آمنوا والذين هاجروا وجاهدوا في سبيل الله أولئك يرجون رحمة الله والله غفور رحيم صدق الله العلي العظيم. I begin by advising myself and all of you to practice the taqwa and the piety of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as the best of provisions. The verse that I recited is from Surah Baqarah 218. And the reason behind reciting this ayat, as you may have understood from the context of it, when I recite the translation, is it has to do with hijrat. It has to do with migration. The ayat says, indeed those who have believed and those who have emigrated and fought in the cause of Allah, those expect the mercy of Allah, and Allah is forgiving and merciful. As we get closer and closer to Arbaeen Husaini, the 20th day from the month of Safar al-Murajjab, it marks that movement that began 14 centuries ago, an aftermath of Karbala, where the Zaireen Husaini began to pour into the city to do the ziyarat of Sayyid al-Shuhada. And that phenomena still continues today, and of course, as it moves forward, it grows every single year. Many people are getting ready to leave for the ziyarat. Many have already made their way in the plains of Najaf and Kufa to do the ziyarat of Amirul Mu'mineen and the ziyarat of Sayyid al-Shuhada. And of course, this is an opportunity of a lifetime to embark on such a journey and to be able to benefit from the thawab, first of all, that a person can receive after performing this ziyarat, which inshallah I will dive into in a little bit. But at the same time, there are many other lessons that one can derive and learn by just performing this collective ziyarat. So when we see that there are many recommended acts one should observe during this journey. If you're planning on going, if you're already there, and of course, if you plan on going at another time, this will be a beneficial guide for all of us to reflect upon when we do embark on such a journey. There are many narrations that highlight different aspects of ziyarat with a specific adab and etiquettes. We'll mention a hadith which relatively is all-encompassing, which has all of these adab pretty much put together in one place. And that is the hadith from our sixth Imam, Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam. Imam recommends the following for the zawar of Sayyid al-Shuhada. This riwayat is narrated from Muhammad ibn Muslim, who of course narrates directly from our sixth Imam, who said, قلت له, I said to Imam, إذا خرجنا إلى أبيك أفكنا في حج قال بلى قلت فيلزمنا ما يلزم الحاج. So when we go for the ziyarat of Sayyid al-Shuhada, is it similar to when we go for the Hajj or the Umrah and the ziyarat of Makkah and Medina? Imam said yes, and you should make incumbent upon you the same things that you make incumbent upon yourself when you go to Hajj and ziyarat. He said, what is it? Number one, يَلْزَمُكَ حُسْنُ الصَّحَابَةِ لِمَنْ يَصْحَبُكَ. Number one, good behavior with the companions, whoever you come and meet and encounter. One of the benefits of this ziyarat is that you come across people from all walks of life. You will be meeting people from all over the world. You will not be surrounded by those who are living within your vicinity, although it's good to run into someone whom you know already. Hey, you are also here for ziyarat, mashallah. And it gives you a great joy to run into someone you know already. But then, of course, you'll be meeting people from all over the world. Hundreds and thousands of people and millions of people, for that matter, gather from all parts of the world. And therefore, it's a unique experience to be in the proximity, in the vicinity, in the surroundings of all these different people. Because all of them are carrying what? Different experiences with them. All of them are coming from a variety of different places and difficulties that they may have to encounter coming into for this ziyarat. So Imam says the first thing that you can do when this person has come, you don't know what kind of hardship this person has gone through. Husnu sahaba liman yasbahuka. That you should present the best of the behavior, good behavior with those whom you become sahaba of, become companion of. They're temporarily what? Your sahabi. They're temporarily your companion. You're walking with them for miles and miles. You encounter with them, you will stop over and you eat someplace and you drink someplace and you sleep someplace, and all these different people that you come across. Good behavior is the key to portray and to show your, of course, true character as the Zair of Sayyidul Shuhada. That should be the first reflection that Imam says. Paying attention to the Islamic values during the journey of ziyarat will make the travel more and more meaningful. Sometimes, we are unable to display that best of the behavior when we are within our own community. But because we know we have to see these people all the time, then we try to put up a face with them. But when you meet someone who you think that you'll never come across with them again, you're never going to see them again, probably. So, why should I? They won't even remember me after this, so I'm not going to be at the best of my behaviors. No, that is not the way a Zair of Husaini should be. This ziyarat will become more and more meaningful, sweet, and attractive if your journey is coupled with husnus sahaba. One of these ethical values is good behavior with your fellow companions. One who wants to fully benefit from their journey and be considered beloved by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala must pay attention to this specific point. How do you treat others when you encounter them? During ziyarah, because of large crowds, congestion, and limited resources, unforeseen problems arise which can easily disturb even the calmest of the people. People you think that they'll never say anything or never complain and open their mouth in any sort of complaints, even they will become agitated in such scenarios because you're pushed to the limit. So therefore, it is important that where patience and forbearance is expected from the Zair of Imam Husain, they should fully display this. For this reason, we read in another tradition that test your companion during travel. Right? Amir al-Mu'mineen, Imam al-Muttaqeen, Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salatu wasalam. Although Imam is limiting testing your companion in certain scenarios, I think we should tell Imam that, Imam, we're always testing our companions. Every single day we're testing our companions. But Imam says, if you really want to test someone, test them while they're traveling. Why? Because they're out of their comfort zone. They're not at home. They're not at ease. They don't have all the things that they need within, reaching distance. So when something is not available, someone who's lacking something or is away from their homeland or away from their house, away from their comfort zone, it is very easy for them to become agitated. That's the time when you go ahead and test the mu'min really. And so this is where we find that you're traveling, since you're not in your hometown, your true nature can easily be assessed, and therefore put up the best of your behaviors. Number 2, Imam continues with this hadith by saying, قِلَّةُ الْكَلَامِ إِلَّا بِخَيْرٍ. You're at the ziyarat. What is expected of you is to recite the ziyarat of Sayyid al-Shuhada. Say labbaik ya Husain. Convert your words into your feelings and truly perform this ziyarat, immerse in that environment. You don't really need to be chatting and talking. Illatul kalam illa bi khair. Speak less unless it's a good speech. Unless you're speaking goodly when you're speaking and giving advices to someone. Illatul kalam is what your duty is during this ziyarat. The less you speak, the better it is for you during this journey. You don't have to talk a lot. Yeah, of course, when you need something, you speak about it. But unnecessary chatter, unnecessary talk, and chat does not mean speaking through your tongue. Even with your phone, texting, tweeting and messaging and all that stuff. It says, قِلَّةُ الْكَلَامِ إِلَّا بِخَيْرٍ. Many of the things that we say during our free time has no benefit. And usually they are in vain. There is little or no good in it. Therefore, it is incumbent upon the Zair of Imam Husain to control his tongue from useless speech. There's so many things that we don't really need to, give our opinion about, especially when you are, constrained of time. You only have 10 days, a week, less than 10 days. You want to make sure that you spend all this time only in obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, refraining from anything that could be questionable, because a lot of time our vain speech then leads to haram speech. Sometimes our vain discussions lead to gossip and backbite and slander and whatnot and lies. And therefore it is better that the less you speak during this journey, the better it is for you. So this travel is a great opportunity for one to purify their nafs, and by going into seclusion with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah did not create us so that we spend our entire life in seclusion, in ziva, in, away from the community, away from the people. And this is the beauty in the kalam of Imam. While you're in the midst of millions of people during the ziyarat, go into seclusion. Right? Seclude yourself, away from all the people. Well, how can I do that? No. It doesn't mean that you literally move yourself away from the people. Your mind should be connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at that point. And therefore you can easily distance yourself from those who are in your surroundings. So here, enrich your soul with the dhikr, with Quran, with supplication, with the ziyarat, the adiyya that are mansoob with ma'asumin alayhi salatu wasalam. One should avoid from lying, backbiting, gossip, even when they're not performing this spiritual journey, but especially during this spiritual journey, that they are grave sins. Fourth Imam Zainul Abidin alayhi salatu wasalam said in Risalat al-Huquq, he said, حَقُّ السَّمْعِ تَنْزِيهُهُ عَنْ سِمَاعِ الْغِيبَةِ سِمَاعِ مَا لَا يَحِلُّ سِمَاعُهُ. Haqq, and the right of your hearing, is that you should refrain it and keep your ears from listening to that which is considered to be gossip or backbite, and from that which is unlawful to listen to. I can speak about this for another hour, just this word of our fourth Imam. And you know where I'll be going in with it as far as, what can we listen, what can we not listen to. But I'll refrain from that much. That Imam is telling us over here that one is your musahibat with this person, how you speak to them, and at the same time, keeping your ears, refraining from it, entering something which is not worthy of entering your ears. Remember when we talked about Qalb Salim? There was a majlis that I recited, we talked about Qalb Salim. Qalb, heart which is Salim, Salim, which is what? Sound. And Shaheed Dastaghaib in his book, Gunahan Kabira, in fact, he has a book called Qalb Salim, the Immaculate Heart. In that book, he talks about, how can we keep our hearts sound and pure. He mentions just the same way, a body of water has different sources of water, because the water is not its original, right? It got the water from somewhere else. So you either poured it in, with the hose, or some river dropped the water in it, some lake it's connected to, or all these other different means by which you gather water in this pond. Imagine there's a pond, and of course the pond has a resource. Sources are like the rain, or the river, or other means of gathering water in it. He says, similarly, your heart is like that pond. It has different resources or different sources through which it gathers information. Gathers information through your ears, gathers information through your tongue, gathers information through your eyes. He says the water of the pond is clean as long as the source is clean. If it's coming from the rainwater is clean. If it's coming from running water, the running water is clean. If you're providing it through a hose, and the source of the hose is also clean, the water is pure and clean. But if any one of these sources are impure, then what? The water in the pond is what? It's also impure. It's a heart is the same way. You got these different sources that are putting and pouring information into this heart, through your eyes, through your ears, through your tongue. If anything impure enters through your ears, through your eyes, through your tongue, guess what? It impures and pollutes the heart of yours. So you want to have this Qalb Salim, according to this kalam of our fourth Imam, then of course you need to make sure that the sources through which the information is coming in, they are also clean. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. This is interesting. Some people believe that certain things are allowed at times, but then they become forbidden at other times. No, that which Islam has made haram is always haram. There's exception of one or two things. Which Islam has made halal is always halal, except a few things. I'll give you an example. There's nothing wrong in eating and drinking halal food. But it is forbidden for you while you are fasting, right? There's an exception right there. It's okay for you to apply perfume and fragrance and smell it. But it becomes forbidden upon you when you are in the state of ihram, wearing during Hajj or Umrah. So these are exceptions. But these things that are halal are always halal. Things which are haram are always going to be haram, except these exceptions that exist within us. Some people believe that certain things are allowed at times, but then become forbidden at other times. For example, if something is, you're going through Ayyam-e-Azah, and music is haram during Ayyam-e-Azah. But the moment Ayyam-e-Azah will end, music becomes halal, for example. I'm not sure this is the right way of putting it, but that's how some people think. That's how it is. That they'll be respectful of Ayyam-e-Azah and refrain from listening to all sorts of music. They'll pack up all their CDs. I don't know if they use CDs anymore. Pack up all their other devices, and put it away. I was going to give example of cassettes, but the kids over here would not even understand that. So, the MP3 players and whatnot, they'll put it away because there's music in it. Or they'll replace the music with the noha and other things which are permissible. And then the moment 9th of Rabiul Awwal comes, all these things are put away until the next year Muharram, as if to say that these 2 months and 10 days were the only time when these things were haram. If something is haram in normal circumstances, it will remain haram at all times. And therefore, one should be respectful of those things during Ayyam-e-Azah and even after Ayyam-e-Azah. While there are many things which we refrain from doing during these days, are allowed normally, such as celebrations, getting married, and attending such gatherings, they're okay. But what do? You make it incumbent upon you to refrain from such gatherings even during, month of Muharram and Safar. You don't attend weddings because many of your friends are, non-Shia, and they don't have any problem commemorate or having weddings during Muharram and Safar. Many of your friends are non-Muslim. They don't care about Muharram and Safar, so they'll go ahead and have their weddings. But you make an effort, if it is possible for you, that you refrain. I get calls all the time. Maulana, a friend of ours, is a very close friend. We grew up together, getting married. It's falling in the month of Muharram or Safar. It's after Ashura. Can we attend it? So really, it's a difficult way of answering. Shara'an, it's not haram. It's not forbidden. But really, do you feel like going to a joyous occasion when you are facing the masaib and the musibat of Sayyidu Shuhada? So this is your judgment call. You make this call. It doesn't really affect others. So on the contrary, it is possible for certain things to become haram in special circumstances, but they would be halal normally. For example, speaking, laughing, eating while you are praying during salat. Similarly, wearing perfumes and all these other examples that I gave you during while you're wearing ihram. So make sure that these things are kept in mind when you are on this spiritual journey walking toward Sayyidu Shuhada. Number 3, remembering Allah and doing the dhikr often. Imam said amongst the things, so those who just walked in, we've been talking about the etiquettes of ziyarat. Many people are going for the ziyarat of Arbaeen. There's a hadith from our 6th Imam in which he mentions the adab of this ziyarat. One of the adab of this ziyarat that Imam ﷺ mentions in it, number 1 that we had mentioned was good behavior with your companions. Number 2, speak less unless it is good speech. And number 3 that we're talking about now is remembering Allah and doing the dhikr of Allah as often. Kasratu dhikrillah. Dhikr and remembrance of Allah has constructional effects on souls and ethics of mankind, especially during ziyarah when a person is in the close vicinity of awliya Allah. When you walk into that beautiful shrine and the majestic shrine of Sayyid al-Shuhada, and you see red all around you, and you see floods of people walking into, no one has any intention except to go ahead and touch that zari, hold on to it, ask for their hajat, and shed a few tears. That's all you're thinking about. Imagine in that majestic environment, you're there. What is on your mind? On your mind is only restraint. On your mind is only khulus and sincerity. There's nothing else on your mind when you have made that journey all the way to the shrine of Sayyid al-Shuhada. So it illuminates the heart, provides comfort, instills the fear of disobedience, forgiveness from sins and knowledge and wisdom. These are all that are attained by doing the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and being in the presence of awliya Allah. So couple that and you'll find how this ziyarat becomes even more majestic. Number 4, cleanliness of your libas. Imam mentions, amongst the things that he's mentioning, these are the etiquettes of the ziyarat. Make sure you keep in mind the nizafatul thiyab, that cleanliness of your clothes. Cleanliness of zahir and batin, not just the physical clothes, but as well as internal purification, is very important during travel, as it ensures health, and if it's not taken care of, may lead to illness and will prevent one from the objective that they've spent all this money, taken all this time off from their work, and yet they were not able to perform the ziyarat properly. So one's dress should also portray modesty, and hijab is only wajib during hajj and ziyarat. Rather, it is wajib wherever you are, wherever you are and whenever you are. It is always been obligatory. That's why the ayat of Surah Nur 31 speaks directly about as far as the wujub of this hijab is concerned. Number 5, performing ghusl before entering the marqad of Imam. Imam says, al-ghuslu qabla an ta'tiya ha'ir. When you enter that vicinity where the qubba and where the grave of Imam is, what's the importance of that grave? The 12 meters area surrounding the grave and the zari of Imam is where you're no longer considered to be a musafir. You're no longer considered to be a traveler. You've made all this journey, thousands of miles you've traveled, but when you enter in that vicinity of 12 meters of the hire of Imam Husain ﷺ, you're not a musafir anymore. Why? Shariat gives you permission to pray full. Even if you're there for one day, Shariat gives you permission to offer your salat full. You don't have to pray qasr over there. You are as if you are at home. Just imagine the effect that a place becomes so important that your salat becomes full over there. This is the sunnah of Jabir, that the first Zair of Imam who entered Karbala, what did he do first thing? He went to Furat and he performed the ghusl. He put on nazif clothes, and that's how he went and stepped toward the ziyarat of Imam ﷺ. So when a person intends to do the ziyarat of Imam, performs ghusl, Prophet calls him, O pilgrim of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You do the ghusl and you step in toward performing the ziyarat of Sayyid al-Shuhada. Rasulullah, according to the hadith of 6th Imam, Rasulullah is the one who calls, O the pilgrim of Husain, O the pilgrim of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Just imagine your status, glad tidings to you that you'll accompany me in paradise. Rasulullah is saying this. Then Amir al-Mu'mineen, Imam al-Muttaqeen Ali ibn Abi Talib says, I guarantee that your needs will be fulfilled, calamities will not get in your way in this world and in the hereafter. Then Prophet and Ali accompany the Zair from left to right until he returns home safely. Look who's accompanying you on this journey of yours. Number 6. I know there are many points in it. I'm running out of my time. I'll quickly just mention these points and leave the rest for your understanding. Praying excessively. Kathratus salat. These are all coming right out of the hadith of our 6th Imam. Mentioned in Kamilul Ziyarat, page number 131. You can go ahead and look up this hadith yourself. Imam mentioned these are the etiquettes and the ethics of those who go for the ziyarat, say the shuhada. Praying excessively in this heavenly journey, when one is not distracted by the worldly things, it gives ample opportunity to pray in the haram of Imam Husain exclusively, excessively. Offer each prayer on time in congregation and make an effort not to miss out on the mustahabs. What else are you there for? Make an effort not to miss out even on the nawafil and the mustahab prayers, and make sure that you do not miss out on salatul layl, namaz al-shab as well. Imagine the place you're in. You're in the vicinity of Sayyid al-Shuhada. You're in the haram of Imam Husain, a place where many of the Anbiya call it to be their home. And in that place, you're performing this namaz al-shab. Just imagine, nothing could get better than that. So therefore, pray excessively while you are on this journey. A lot of people say, well, we've made it this far, and even then their namaz is qaza. They've made it that far, even then they're unable to wake up for Fajr and go for congregational prayer. Even then, their Dhuhr and Asr is qaza because they were busy with something else. How beneficial would this ziyarat be if your wajibat that are wajib upon you regardless of your travel or at home, are neglected and not performed properly. Number 7, to be dignified. This itself requires in-depth analysis, which of course I would not have time to go into. At-tawqiru. What does Imam mean over here? Even beyond my understanding. At-tawqiru li'akhdhi ma laysa laka. Imam says at-tawqir, waqar, about that which is not yours. Be dignified when you're on this journey. Be dignified when you're entering into the haram of Sayyid al-Shuhada. Show your dignity that you are Zaireen Husaini. You're not an ordinary individual. Not everybody gets this opportunity. You said labbaik, Imam called you. You had this opportunity. So show some waqar in your personality. Show some tawqir in your personality. Avoiding things which are not for you. There are many things that are not for you. You should refrain from them. Waqar expresses the peace and the balance of the soul and acts as a deterrent against bad behavior and all the different movements. It also brings out some of the greatest attributes of humans, such as the depth and the calmness in one's character. So be dignified when you enter into the bargah of Imam. Refrain from haram glances. Help the needy during this journey. And ponder over this journey, how it impacted you and your life when you were there. Or was it just another trip where you spent some money and time and got nothing out of it except some pain, some back pain, some pain in your knees and whatnot. These are the things that I want to share. 10 points. Inshallah, we'll elaborate more on it when we get time. Unfortunately, I don't have time to go in the depths and details of all of these points. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us all the tawfiq to be the Zair of Imam Husain alayhi salatu wasalam. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect and safeguard those who are currently in the plains of Karbala doing the ziyarat of Imam Husain alayhi salatu wasalam. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to return all these people back safe, home, sound, inshallah, once they have completed this journey. Inna asal hadith wa ablaghal mawida kitabullahi. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Wal asri. Innal insana lafi khusr illa alladhina amanu wa amilus salihat wa tawasaw bil haqqi wa tawasaw bis sabr. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله الذي لا إله إلا هو الحليم الكريم غافر الذنب وقابل التوب وهو الغفور الرحيم سبحان من سبقت رحمته وذب ووسط اليدين بالرحمة سبحان من لم يكلف نفسا إلا دون وسعها وعفى عن السيئات ولم يجاز بها سبحان من لا يزداد ولا معاصي لعباد إلا كرما وجودا ولا كثرة الذنوب إلا عفوا وصفحا نشهد أن لا إله إلا هو ولا طوف على العباد بجوده ولا بعض المذنبين بحلمه ونشهد أن محمدا نبيه وحبيبه سيد المرسلين وشفيع المذنبين بعثه رحمة للعالمين ألا قد أمركم الله في محكم كتابه بالصلاة على نبيه وحبيبه فقال تعليما لكم وتشريفا لسفيه إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على سيد المرسلين وشفيع المذنبين نبينا محمد صلى الله عليه وآله وعلى إمام المسلمين وقائد الغر المحجلين أمير المؤمنين علي بن أبي طالب صلوات الله وسلامه عليه وعلى سيدة نساء العالمين وبذة خاتم النبيين سيدتنا فاطمة بنت رسول الله صلوات الله عليها وعلى الحسن المجتبى والحسين الشهيد بكربلاء وعلي بن الحسين ومحمد بن علي وجعفر بن محمد وموسى بن جعفر وعلي بن موسى ومحمد بن علي وعلي بن محمد والحسن بن علي عليهم الصلاة والسلام. اللهم صل على مولانا صاحب الزمان ماهي آثار البدع والطغيان هادم ابنة الشرك والنفاق حاسد فروع البغي والشقاق صلوات الله وسلامه عليه وعلى آباء الكرام اتصلت الليالي والأيام. اللهم عجل فرجا وسهل مخرجا واقل ناظرنا بنظرة منا إليه واجعلنا من المستشهدين بين يديه وتفضل على أمراء المؤمنين بمزيد التوفيقات وازدياد الإقبال وعلو الدرجات. اللهم افعل بنا ما أنت أهل ولا تفعل بنا ما نحن أهله بجاه محمد وآله المعصومين صلوات الله عليهم أجمعين. من يتذكر فتنفع ذكر إن الله يؤمن بالله وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. Stay there. Stay back. الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله. أشهد أن محمد رسول الله. أشهد أن عليا ولي الله. أشهد أن عليا حجة الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح حي على خير العمل حي على خير العمل قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يسبح لله ما في السماوات وما في الأرض الملك القدوس العزيز الحكيم. هو الذي بعث في الأميين رسولا منهم يتلو عليهم آياته ويزكيهم ويعلمهم الكتاب والحكمة وإن كانوا من قبل لفي ضلال مبين وآخرين منهم لما يلحقوا بهم وهو العزيز الحكيم. ذلك فضل الله يؤتيه من يشاء والله ذو الفضل العظيم. مثل الذين حملوا التوراة ثم لم يحملوها كمثل الحمار يحمل أسفارا بئس مثل القوم الذين كذبوا بآيات الله والله لا يهدي القوم الظالمين. قل يا أيها الذين هادوا إن زعمتم أنكم أولياء لله من دون الناس فتمنوا الموت إن كنتم صادقين ولا يتمنونه أبدا بما قدمت أيديهم والله عليم بالظالمين. قل إن الموت الذي تفرون منه فإنه ملاقيكم ثم تردون إلى عالم الغيب والشهادة فينبئكم بما كنتم تعملون. يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا نودي للصلاة من يوم الجمعة فاسعوا إلى ذكر الله وذروا البيع ذلكم خير لكم إن كنتم تعلمون. فإذا قضيت الصلاة فانتشروا في الأرض وابتغوا من فضل الله واذكروا الله كثيرا لعلكم تفلحون. وإذا رأوا تجارة أو لهوا انفضوا إليها وتركوك قائما قل ما عند الله خير من اللهو ومن التجارة والله خير الرازقين. الله أكبر. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. وربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار بجاه محمد وآله الأطهار. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده. رب صل على محمد وآل محمد. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. رب صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. استغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. رب صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. بحول الله وقوته يقوم ويقعد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده. رب صل على محمد وآل محمد. سمع الله لمن حمد. الله أكبر. ربنا افرغ علينا صبرا وثبت أقدامنا وانصرنا على القوم الكافرين بجاه محمد وآله الطاهرين. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. رب صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. أستغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. يا لطيف ارحم عبدك الضعيف. الله أكبر. الحمد لله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر.
إن الله ملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. تسبيح جناب فاطمة الزهراء سلام الله عليها. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أستغفر الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم الرحمن الرحيم ذو الجلال والإكرام وأتوب إليه. All of us together. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم كن لوليك الحجة لابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك توعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.
billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Today's Jummah is sponsored by Dr. Muhammad Tahseen, Brother Tawsif Ali Uppal, and Brother Sayyid Hassan Abbas and their families. Please recite Surah Fatiha for their and your marhumin, especially Shabbir Husain, Fawzia Ali Uppal, Riaz Ali Uppal, Sayyid Ishtiyaq Husain Rizvi, and Maulana Sayyid Tilmiz Hassan Rizvi. Surah Fatiha. Bismillah. Salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Just a quick announcement about the upcoming series of majalis observing the Arbaeen of Sayyid al-Shuhada. Majalis will start from this coming Sunday, September 3rd, and will continue until September 7th. All the majalis, inshallah, will start at 7:45 p.m. with namaz-e-Maghribain, and inshallah followed by Sur Salam Quran, Sur Salam and Marsiya, followed by Majlis, which will be addressed in these 5 nights by Hujjat Islam Sayyid Husain Qazwini, followed by Matam and Ziyarah. Wednesday, the day of Arbaeen, program will start at 7 p.m. with the Amal of the day of Arbaeen and Ziyarat of Arbaeen, which is highly recommended. And then again, the program will follow from Namaz-e-Maghribain onwards, the way it has been. Also, this coming Sunday, during these Ayyam-e Arbaeen, Majalis of Arbaeen, we will be observing the Shahadat of our 8th Imam, Imam Ali ibn Musa Rada, alayhi salatu wassalam. Again, Sayyid Husain Qazwini will be reciting that Majlis. It will start at 7:45 p.m. Al-Mahdi workshops also on Sunday, September 3rd at 8:15 p.m. until the end of lecture. A tribute to Sayyida Zainab Salamullahi alayha. So that program is also going to be right here. Tomorrow as well, on Saturday, September 2nd, from 11 a.m. till 4 p.m. There'll be a second blood drive after a very successful one during the first Ashra. Second blood drive, which inshallah will be taking place between 11 a.m. and 4 p.m. An email was sent out earlier this morning as well, just to emphasize on how important it is that we continue this effort and donate blood for the sake of humanity. So that'll be inshallah tomorrow from 11 to 4 p.m. You can go follow the link that was sent in the email, register. It will be better to register ahead of time, but also walk-ins will be accepted depending on how many people they have in line. We mentioned last week as well, Bibi Sakina Daycare of Sadiq School is now enrolling. So the building that you enter in, the house that you used to do majalis in close to 15 years ago, is now serving as a daycare for the young children, 2.5 to 3-year-old kids of our community. How important this service is, just ask those who have young kids, and they're both working parents. And so this will inshallah be utilized by them. If you know anyone, please inform them. In a safe, sound environment, Muslim Shia environment, where you can drop off your kids and have peace of mind that these kids will be inshallah learning when you pick them up again. Also tomorrow night, Saturday, there will be an interactive workshop with Dr. Ali Al-Hilli starting at the time of Maghribain, and of course right after the Maghribain, the workshop will take place. The topic is regarding identity, and therefore 16 and above are recommended to attend this workshop, inshallah, tomorrow at 7:45 p.m. With that, gender identity, yes. With that, inshallah, let's recite Dua Shifa, Dua Sihat for all of those people who are in need of dua, suffering, struggling, going through a difficult time. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with the benefit of this dua, bring them out of their difficulties. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Amma yujibu al-mustarra idha da'ahu yakshifu as-su. Amma yujibu al-mustarra idha da'ahu yakshifu as-su. أما يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه يكشف السوء أما يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء أما يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه يكشف السوء ويجعلكم خلفاء الأرض أإله مع الله قليلا ما تذكرون. اللهم صل. Inshallah, when there are gaps, hopefully you guys fill them in. So move up when you stand up, just fill in the gaps so there aren't any gaps left. Also, some observations were made. Of course, I'm not facing in that direction. People have informed me that people are trying to align their sajdaga instead of aligning their feet and their shoulders. So stand shoulder to shoulder so that form a straight line and not necessarily your sajdaga, because some might be short, some might be tall, and therefore keep that in mind. If anyone is praying qasr, it's recommended that after 2 rakat, stand up and offer your qaza prayers. If you don't have a qaza for yourself, offer qaza on behalf of some of your relative deceased, your father, for example, your brother or whatever, and that way you can take benefit of that, and connection will be intact and jamaat will not be broken. So take advantage of all that, inshallah, in namaz-e jamaat. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadar Rasulullah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadar Rasulullah. Ashhadu anna Aliyan waliyullah. Ashhadu anna Aliyan hujjatullah. Hayya ala salati, hayya ala salah. Hayya ala al-falah, hayya ala al-falah. Hayya ala khayril amal, hayya ala khayril amal. Qad qamatis salah, qad qamatis salah. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. La ilaha illallah. Allahu Akbar. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Allahu Akbar. Subhanallah, 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 Subhana Rabbiyal Azim wa bihamdih. Sami Allahu liman hamid. Allahu Akbar. Subhanallah, 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 Subhana Rabbiyal A'la wa bihamdih. Allahu Akbar. Astaghfirullah Rabbi wa atubu ilayh. Allahu Akbar. Subhanallah, 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 Subhana Rabbiyal A'la wa bihamdih. الله أكبر بحول الله وقوته أقوم وأقعد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الله أكبر. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. ربنا اغفر لي ولوالدي وللمؤمنين يوم يقوم الحساب. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. الله أكبر. سبحان الله, سبحان الله, سبحان الله, سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده. سمع الله لمن حمد. الله أكبر. سبحان الله, سبحان الله, سبحان الله, سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. الله أكبر. أستغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه. الله أكبر. سبحان الله, سبحان الله, سبحان الله, سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده. الله أكبر. الحمد لله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بحول الله وقوته أقوم وأقعد. الله أكبر. سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده سمع الله لمن حمده الله أكبر سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده الله أكبر استغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه الله أكبر سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده الله أكبر بحول الله وقوته يقوم ويقعد الله أكبر سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي العظيم وبحمده سمع الله لمن حمده الله أكبر سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده الله أكبر استغفر الله ربي وأتوب إليه الله أكبر سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان الله سبحان ربي الأعلى وبحمده يا لطيف ارحم عبدك الضعيف الله أكبر الحمد لله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد السلام عليك أيها النبي ورحمة الله وبركاته السلام علينا وعلى عباد الله الصالحين السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر
إن الله ملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد تسبيح اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أستغفر الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم الرحمن الرحيم ذو الجلال والإكرام وأسأله أن يتوب علي توبة عبد ذليل خاضع فقير بائس مسكين مستكين مستجير لا يملك لنفسه نفعا ولا ضرا ولا موتا ولا حياة ولا نشورا اللهم إني أعوذ بك من نفس لا تشبع ومن قلب لا يخشع ومن علم لا ينفع ومن صلاة لا ترفع ومن دعاء لا يسمع اللهم إني أسألك اليسر بعد الأسر والفرج بعد الكار والرخاء بعد الشدة اللهم ما بنا من نعمة فمنك لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك
Mutawajjih Zair today will recite a few lines from Zair at Arbaeen. Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum ya Nabiyullah. Assalamu alaikum Amir al-Mu'minin ya Qasim al-Jannati wa nar. Assalamu alaikum Sayyidina Sahal al-Alamin. Assalamu alaikum ya Ahl Bayt al-Jumu'ah wa Jami'ah wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Assalamu alaikum ya Walillah wa Habib. Assalamu alaikum ya Khalilullah wa Jiye. Assalamu alaikum ya Safiyullah wa Ibn Safiyya. Assalamu ala Husain al-Mazlum al-Shahid. Assalamu ala Asil al-Qurbat wa Qatil al-Abarat. Assalamu Allahumma inni ashhadu annahu waliyuka wa ibn waliyuk wa safiyuka wa ibn safiyuk wal faizul mu'azzabun min qatlak wa ashhadu annaka wafayta bi ahdillahi wa jahata fi sabilihi hatta taqlikin falana lamatan qatlat walana lamatan zalamat walana lamatan samiyat bi zalika fadrazat bi Allahumma inni ushiduka anni waliyul liman walahu wa aduwwul liman adahu wa bi anta Bibi anta wa ummi wa yabna Rasulullah ashhadu anna kunta nuran fi al-asab al-shamakha wa arham al-mutahhara lam tunajjiska al-jahaliyata wa al-anjasiya wa lam tulbiska al-mudlimati min siyabiha wa ashhadunaka min da'im ad-din wa arkan al-muslimin wa ma'akil al-mu'minin wa ashhadu annaka al-imam al-barr al-taqi al-zaki al-zaki razi al-zaki al-hadi al-mahdi wa ashhadu anna al-a'immata min waldik كلمة التقوى وألام الهدى والأرة الوسطى والحجة لأهل الدنيا أشهد أني بكم مؤمن وبيابكم مؤمن بشرع ديني وخواتم عملي بقلبكم سلم وأمري لأمركم متبع ونصرتي لكم مؤدة حتى يأذن الله لكم فماكم معكم لهم عدوكم وصلوات الله عليكم وعلى أرواحكم ولا إسعادكم واسقط نبيك وطاعة من عبادك أهل الشفاق والنفاق بحملة الأوزار مستوجبين النار وجاهدك فيك صابرا مستهبا حتى صفك في الطاعات دمه واستبيه حريمه اللهم فلهم لعن مبيلا وعذبهم عذابا أليما السلام عليكم صاحب الأسر والزمان يا خليفة الرحمن يا تفسير الفرقان السلام عليكم شريك القرآن السلام عليكم كعبة الإيمان السلام عليكم إمام زمانة أجل الله فرجه وزهرك ورحمة الله وبركاته. May Allah protect all the Mahatmin, Zaireen, all Muafaqa and people who come for Ziyarat and people who have not been there, may Allah give them the faith to do so.